Let's be honest. Most people don't care about your favorite Netflix show, your weird dream from last night, or that time you almost met a celebrity at the airport. They only care about themselves. Welcome back. Today, we're digging into Part 2, Chapter 5 of How to Win Friends and Influence People. And Dale Carnegie isn't pulling punches. His advice: if you want people to genuinely like you, if you want real influence, talk in terms of the other person's interests. Not yours, theirs. It sounds obvious, right? Most conversations are just two people politely waiting for their turn to shine. Carnegie flips that. He's saying, make it about them. What they love. What excites them. What they'd stay up late, rambling about without needing caffeine. Dale Carnegie tells the story of a salesman who didn't open with a product. He opened with sports, or travel, or whatever the other person lit up about. Suddenly, the pitch didn't feel like a pitch. It felt like chatting with a friend who didn't make it weird. Carnegie's point is simple. Everyone has a subject they're secretly waiting to be asked about. And when you find it, when you actually lean in with curiosity, you become memorable. You become magnetic. You basically become the human equivalent of free Wi-Fi. So, how do you apply this? You can start by paying attention. What do they mention more than once? Ask a thoughtful question and actually listen. And if you're thinking, but what if we have nothing in common? Good. That means you get to learn something new. Ask questions like you're a friendly detective with no badge and zero paperwork. So if you want to stand out in a world full of loud voices, be the one who asks instead of talks. The one who remembers. The one who cares. Because in the end, the best way to be interesting is to be interested. Seriously, it beats juggling or memorizing random trivia about sea otters. Stick around. This chapter's just the beginning of learning how to truly connect and leave people thinking about you in a good way. Now that you've got the hang of sparking interest by tuning into what matters to them, let's take it even further. What if I told you there's a way to make people like you instantly? No awkward icebreakers, no cheesy pickup lines, just real, genuine human connection. In Part 2, Chapter 6, Dale Carnegie lays it out clearly. If you want people to like you instantly, make them feel important. Not in a fake, you're the most amazing person I've ever met kind of way, but in a sincere, respectful way that says, I see you. You matter. Carnegie explains that one of the deepest human needs is the need to feel valued. When you recognize someone's worth, really recognize it, it creates an instant bond, like emotional Velcro. He shares the story of a leader who transformed workplace morale just by acknowledging every team member's contribution. Not with a banner or cake, though cake never hurts, but with genuine words. Hey, I noticed the work you put into that presentation. It made a difference. That's it. And it worked. Then there's the restaurant owner who remembered what his regulars liked to eat and greeted them by name. He didn't just run a restaurant, he made people feel seen. And in return, customers who kept coming back. You can do the same by acknowledging people. Thank them for real things. Mention the specific way someone helped. Instead of a bland great job, say your edits really cleaned up that report. It reads way smoother now. And please, for the love of all things social, be genuine. People can smell fake compliments like bad perfume. Sincere recognition doesn't just make you likable, it makes you unforgettable. Whether you're meeting someone new, working with a team, or just navigating everyday conversations, the The goal is simple: make people feel like they matter. Because once they do, they'll never forget how you made them feel. Now let's talk about something we've all been guilty of. Arguing. You know, those moments where you're sure you're right. They're definitely wrong, and you're ready to enter full courtroom drama mode. Believe me or not, you can't actually win an argument. Wanna argue with me about that? Yeah, congrats. That was the argument. And guess what? You just lost it. That's the wake-up call from Part 3, Chapter 1 of How to Win Friends and Influence People. Carnegie makes it painfully clear: proving someone wrong might earn you a point, but it'll cost you the connection. Most people don't respond to logic in the heat of disagreement. They double down. They defend, and they quietly start resenting you. He shares the story of a businessman who avoided a nasty contract fight just by agreeing on a small point, something harmless but honest. And boom, the tension dropped, and the conversation moved forward. No drama, no bruised egos. And of course, Abraham Lincoln makes a cameo, because even honest Abe had to learn the hard way that arguing rarely changes minds. But listening, empathizing, and gracefully redirecting, that changes everything. So next time you feel a debate coming on, try this. Pause. Nod. Say, you might be right, and watch how quickly things cool down. Find even the tiniest thing you can agree on and start there. It's like emotional judo. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being right. It's about being effective. And if you can be the calm in the storm, the one who defuses instead of ignites, you'll not only earn respect, you'll keep the relationship. And hey, if you've been loving these insights and want a full, fun, no fluff guide to how to win friends and influence people, just comment the word "interested" below and let's level up those people's skills. Which brings us to the next level of social self-sabotage after arguing. The next fastest way to lose respect is by telling someone they're flat out wrong. Even if you're technically right, it usually sounds less like wisdom and more like a slap to the ego. Carnegie doesn't sugarcoat it. Correcting someone, even if you're technically right, can be like spraying vinegar on a friendship. Most folks don't hear your logic. They feel your judgment. And guess what that triggers? Defensiveness, ego, and a solid mental note to avoid you next time. He shares stories of people who could have said, "Actually, you're wrong," but instead chose diplomacy. They didn't cave or lie. They just found smarter ways to redirect the conversation. Like asking a thoughtful question, or agreeing with a small, harmless point to lower the temperature. Carnegie even brings Galileo into the mix, the man literally challenging how people saw the universe, and he still knew better than to go around telling folks they were wrong to their faces. The guy used science and style. So how do you disagree without declaring war? Easy. Start with what you agree on. Say, "That's a good point, and here's another angle I've been thinking about." You're not avoiding honesty. You're just delivering it with empathy. And if you're wrong, own it gracefully. Show that being wrong isn't fatal, it's human. Because when people feel respected, they listen. They relax. And sometimes, they even change their minds. Not because you won, but because you made it safe to talk. And hey, if you've made it this far, do us both a favor, like, comment, and share this video. Not just for the algorithm, but because the world honestly needs more people who know how to communicate without causing emotional earthquakes. Think of it as your small contribution to a less awkward planet.